they've always had a very similar system, right? There's always been a style or a cultural style of play that Japan plays.
We should beat Japan. If we're playing our best, we should beat Japan.
And I'm also going to look at Japan, their coach, their style of play, some of their key players, and some of the threats and dangers that they might pose to us.
The problem with Hajime Moriyasu, our head coach.
皆さんこんにちは。いつもご視聴、そして多くのコメントとライクありがとうございます。150ライクで日本対アメリカのレビュー動画を明日投稿します。今晩の日本対アメリカの試合のスコア予想をこの下のコメント欄に当ててみてください。今現在スコア予想ランキング1位はまだ太郎さんですが、今回のスコア予想を当てて5月に1位になった方にはプレゼントを用意します。また後日プレゼントについて話していきたいと思います。このスコア予想を当てた方にはランキングに追加しますので、多くのスコア予想をこのコメント欄にお待ちしております。今回訳した動画は少し長めのものになります。そして最後にスタメン予想であったりスコア予想もしますので、最後まで見ていただければと思います。では、こちらが今日の動画です。
This is a really quality side, and Greg Berhalter actually said, I think that this game's going to prepare us for anyone that we face. Japan is a high-pressing team with very dynamic players, very technical players. It'll be a very good challenge. They don't give away many goal-scoring opportunities. The teams play very tight. Everyone gets behind the ball when they lose it, so I think it's going to be an interesting opponent. Any thoughts initially on Japan? Charlie, I'll come to you. Do you think this is a good opponent for us as we prepare for the World Cup?
It is a good opponent. This is a really good test because we should beat Japan. If we're playing our best, we should beat Japan. But they have a number of quality players within the squad.
Yes, it's a friendly, but if we do believe that we've got this young squad capable of doing something special, we should be able to beat Japan. Yeah, I understand it's a friendly, it's a neutral venue, but Japan are a good team, right? Them and Saudi Arabia and their group are the ones that pushed Australia out of qualifying. They've always had a very similar system, right? There's always been a style or a cultural style of play that Japan plays. They're going to press high, they're technical, they're going to be very tactical as well. And you're going to have to go through those moments where Japan can put together a string of passes where they have the flow of the game. Japan can also defend collectively, and you're going to face
set pieces.
Yeah, you're going to face a team that can be 7s and 8s consistently. So, do we have the ability to have a couple players that of moments of magic, or collectively to be able to break that down? If I look at our team, I think we do. It's not our perfect team. It's not our ideal team that we want to have come the World Cup, but we have enough quality. We have to be able to beat Japan.
History, the U.S. men's national team and Japan have faced each other twice, with one American win and one Japanese win. Japan defeated the United States in 1993 in the Kirin Cup, which is also the name of this match. This match is being called the Kirin Cup Challenge. And then the United States defeated Japan in 2006 during a friendly match that ended 3-2. Eddie Pope, Clint Dempsey, and Taylor Twellman scored for the United States on that occasion.
The problem with Hajime Moriyasu, our head coach, is that he is he's conservative when he doesn't have to be, and when his back is against the wall, he'll play more aggressively, but not much as we'd like. Typically, we go with a 4-2-3-1, sometimes a 4-3-3. I think that this game, it's tough because we have to prepare for opponents that are very fast, very strong, and they're going to take the game to Japan. And that's of course, Spain and Germany. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, are you practicing to defend against that and to counter against that? Or are you practicing to take the fight to them and to play more aggressively? Japan isn't really as much of a sort of slow, deliberate side switching team. You'll see lots of short passes. You'll see connections through the midfield. You'll see very speedy wingers and fullbacks. Lots of playmakers, and our problem is that we never really have a true dyed-in-the-wool killer striker. We don't have a Messi or a Ronaldo to carry the game. I think that, this squad is one of the best squads that we have seen for Japan in a long time.
And I'm also going to look at Japan, their coach, their style of play, some of their key players, and some of the threats and dangers that they might pose to us. It'll be interesting to see how a very physical, athletic team like the US goes up against a very technical team like Japan. He led Japan to a pretty easy World Cup qualifying. He won all of his games in the second round, and in the third round, he won 7, drew 1, and finished second in their group. Interestingly, he finished second to Saudi Arabia, which is not great considering that Japan is actually a stronger team and has better players than Saudi Arabia, and he did receive some criticism for that, as well as for some of the team's performances in that qualifying campaign. Japan has played in a 4-3-3 under Moriyasu. It basically mirrors Greg Berhalter's formation with the dual eights, with the fullbacks bombing up the field. So it'll be kind of fun to watch these two systems go up against each other in this game. Let's talk about some of the key players for Japan. First up is Maya Yoshida, the center back from Schalke. He's also Japan's captain, their most experienced player, 34 years old. This is very likely to be his last World Cup, but he's a very solid center back and is going to be key to keeping guys like Josh Sargent or Jesus Ferreira quiet. He's a very good reader of the game. He's maybe lost just a little bit of his speed that he had when he was younger, but he makes up for it with his experience, his reading of the game, and his leadership on the back line for Japan. Wataru Endo is a defensive midfielder and another really key piece for Japan. The coach relies on him a lot. I expect him to start this game. He has played all but 15 minutes for Stuttgart this year and is the Tyler Adams of the Japan national team, but he's also very technical on the ball. And this is what you find out about Japan very quickly, is because of the way they develop players and the focus that they have on technical development, all of their players have a very technical floor, sort of like you see with Mexico. Daichi Kamada, he'll usually play in one of those dual 8 positions in the 4-3-3. Also a very experienced player. I'm not sure who his partner is going to be in that attacking 8. Sometimes it's Genki Haraguchi, sometimes it's Takefusa Kubo, sometimes even Mitoma is used there. Sometimes Junya Ito or Ritsu Doan are brought inside and used there. So I'm not sure who his partner is going to be, but I expect Daichi Kamada to start in this game. Kaoru Mitoma, he's not a starter by any means for Brighton. He's still very much a developing player, even though he's 25. But he's a very quick, very skillful left winger that could really cause problems for that right-hand side of our defense. Takefusa Kubo hasn't always been as productive for Japan as the Japanese fans would like, but he's still a massively, massively talented player. He's been a regular starter for Real Sociedad this year, playing both in La Liga and in the Europa League. I expect him to line up on the right-hand side of that attack for Japan. And of course, Takumi Minamino, definitely Japan's most dangerous player, has 17 goals in 42 caps for Japan. And yes, a lot of those are obviously in Asia, but he could line up either on the left or the right for Japan. And whoever's in charge of marking him is going to have a very tough night. This Japanese team is stocked with talent that plays in Europe, and I'd say they're at a similar level to us. But overall, they're probably more technical than we are, but we probably have a physical advantage over this team. So it'll be a very interesting matchup. And this Japan team just beat Ghana 4-1 in the summer, so they're very capable of causing us problems.
今夜21時25分にキックオフがあります。今現在日本代表は FIFA ランキング24位で、アメリカ代表は、なんと14位です。FIFA ランキングは正直あんまり気にしたことないんですけれども、情報としてみんなと共有したかったです。で、今回怪我によって試合に出れない選手が日本代表に関しては川島選手と浅野選手。アメリカ代表ではロビンソン、ロールダン、ウェア。この3人が試合に出れないです。訳した動画でもあったように、アメリカの現地のそのファンが今夜アメリカのスタメンは、理想なメンバーではないということも話していました。で、ごめんなさい。ちょっとこんなものしか用意できなかったんですけども、こちらがスタートのフォーメーション、予想されているフォーメーションになります。日本に関しては、ゴールキーパー川島に、4バックが長友吉田、谷口山根。で、あとは中盤からフォワードに関しては遠藤、南野、森田、田中、伊藤、古橋という形になっています。で、アメリカ代表に関しては、アーセナルのセカンドキーパーのターナー、バインズ、ロング、ジメルマン、カノンが、4人の4バックで、あとはアーロンソン、アダムズ、メッケニ が、中盤で、フォワードに関してはプリシッチ、ペピ、アリオラとなっています。正直ここ最近での、久保選手のパフォーマンスを考えたら彼をスタートから出すのではないかと、個人的に思うんですが、皆さんも意見をコメント欄に教えてください。こちらが日本の代表の、今のフォームになりますが、最後の試合が、7月27日、韓国に 3-0 という結果で勝ちました。で、その3日前には中国と0-0、さらに5日前に 6-0 という結果で香港に勝つことができました。で、その前に、チュニジアに 3-0 で敗れたんですけど、キリンカップで。その4日前にはガーナに 4-1 で勝っています。で、こちらが逆に、アメリカ代表の最近のフォームになるんですけれども、一番最近の試合では6月15日、エルサルバドルと1-1。あとはグレナダに 5-0。ウルグアイとは親善試合だったんですけど、0-0。さらにモロッコとも練習試合で 3-0 という結果で、勝っています。で、その前はコスタリカに、2-0 で敗れています。ここの上に書いてあるものは過去のその20年の間の対戦になるので、1試合しか、ないです。3-2 でアメリカが勝っています。で、もちろんその訳した動画でもあったように、日本は、キリンカップでアメリカに、一度勝っていますので、勝敗に関しては1勝1敗という形になります。で、スポーツフリークのスコア予想は2-2という結果を予想しています。多くのゴールが決まるのかなということも思っていますし、あとはニュートラルベニューなので、どっちもホームではないドイツでの試合になるので、すごくオープンな試合になるのかなというふうに、思っています。皆さんもこの下のコメント欄に、スコア予想をしてみてください。で、動画はここまでになるんですけれども、150ライクでパート2というか、この試合のレビュー動画を明日アップロードします。そして、いつも多くのコメントとライクを、本当にありがとうございます。そして、これからもよろしくお願いいたします。